Hi guys, hi everyone. Just give us a few minutes more. 3 minutes actually. Start at one effectively. Just preparing a few interesting things for you. Give us a few minutes more. We are here. Hi everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon, rather. Uh, then hello. Hi everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hope you all can hear me. Let me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It was quite interesting reading all your chats and comments, which were um well. I don't have words. I've actually asked ChatGPT to generate some random inspirational or motivational thoughts for you so that it can be helpful, but I don't think I'm the best judge in that sense. Hopefully everything looks good from our side, so we can get started. Before we do, immediately, what I actually want to see or understand from your side of the picture or understand something is how many of you are aware of anything related to data science? Are you all good on, how should I say, coding? Are you beginners? The intro what was given to me was volume increase करें. Okay, can I increase my volume? Maybe I can. Is it better now? Can you guys hear me clearly? Yes. Hi. Is there any other emoji like a thumbs up or a simple one? आप लोग इतने सारे भेज रहे हो, मुझे आधे तो समझ भी नहीं आ रहे हैं. For example, a skull means funny or dying or laughing. God knows. Just speak up loudly. Okay. Wow. Speak up really loudly. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, not a problem. All I have to do is shout in my place here. Good thing I didn't go to a separate place to shout really loud. Okay, let me see if this volume percentage. 1 minute. So this is me speaking in my normal volume. Is this fine or louder? Louder? What are we learning today? Wow, that's a great question. Um, okay, this is fine. Thank you so much, guys. So the question or louder? Okay, louder as the beginning. All right. The intent or what we are going to learn today or in the coming weeks is something that I can pass on my knowledge and wisdom related not just towards data science, but something related. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's keep it interesting really well. I just want one question. Just let's settle on one emoji. If either of you know, is there a thumbs down button as well? Yeah, I think there is. If you know anything related to data science, hold on before answering. If you know anything related to data science, data analysis, natural language processing, if you're good in coding, I'm not asking expert level. For example, if you understand, please give a simple thumbs up. If you have any doubts in any of these cases, give a thumbs down. One thumbs down would do quickly. And if you would want me, so I'll keep asking you this question at the middle, in the center, whether you understand anything. If you have any kind of doubts, so the way we are going to structure this course is very different from usual analysis. What we are going to do is I'm going to ask interview questions, what I generally ask. So right now my clients are Google, Gemini AI. We need 10 reinforcement learning on large language models. That's an immediate requirement. We are definitely looking out to IITians who have graduated very recently, who are in internships. So don't think you have missed the bus or the bus is way ahead of you. We'll keep doing that. We keep having a lot of requirements. But the question here I'm asking is your base should be really solid. SNI ki bus, you've just asked ChatGPT something, you've got the answer, great. I do almost 50 interviews in 2 months. So that is about net 20 interviews in a month, which is really hectic. And these are all in different time zones, IST and PST. So what I aim to do is any one of you can learn data science, or all of you can learn through different various learning courses or ChatGPT or whatsoever, whatnot. What basically what analytics club here with IIT. What they requested me was to give a generated lecture week by week so we can dwindle, like anyone should be able to. This is like a beginner's or a dummy's guide to data science. But as any data scientist, if some of you are there in this particular room, all of you know that data science is only 20% of the actual machine learning algorithm. 80% is analysis, imputing, and actually understanding about the product. So, long story short, we are going to handle it in three ways. One, Accenture or McKinsey style learning in the entire process. In between, I wish I can write down each and everything I have. We have noted down a lot of interview questions and their answers. I'll keep on giving you those if possible. Note it down, or else if you are really lazy when this video comes out, you can just hit the transcript and ask for interview questions. Hopefully, we should not do that, but yeah, uh, at times I'm lazy as well, so we can do that. All right. Without further ado, what I would like to do is take you through some of the very interesting or simple concepts, which I feel is data science, machine learning analysis, which would really help you for the whole way. So let's start with this one. Let me know as soon as my screen is visible. Yep, I think so it is. Means this is me first time. Yep. Let's start. Let's start. Apology. Not starting. We should start pronto. Just checking. Do I have any other open? No. I'm just deleting. I'm just removing all the tabs in case I don't goof up on my first lecture. Right? Okay. Can you guys see? Blank and missing. Should be able to oh, visible. So this is basically School of Data Sciences screen over here. Let me reduce myself all the way to the bottom. That way we have a lot of headroom over here. And I think I can now remove all the music or different components or sets from that. All right. So we will send you this list. It Our School of Data Science or our your courses would be included in this one. That should be there as soon as this stream is done. Schoolofds.com. You should be able to log in and go through it directly. That's not a problem at all. So let's go with that one. Right. Come back to our scenes. Okay. What is this screen? Why is this screen over here? Are you still seeing the screen? Wrong screen. Let me add a screen capture, a fresh one. Helpful. All right. Yep. Yep. Chat GPT. I use Chat GPT so that I can see. Okay, still louder. Sorry, apologies for that. 1 second. Percentage. This is the loudest that I'm going right now. Is this much better? Is this clearer? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Let's begin. Okay, so the first thing what I want you to understand in any kind of Python is number, strings, or floats. So what we will be going to, what what we will be doing is, you see this entire crash course over here, right? So we'll be sharing this with you on a regular basis so that you can have the answers, the questions on the left. You can definitely see there is a lot of data over for you. There is regression, classification. This is going to be not just day 1 to day 9 or day 10. This is going to be almost everything. Now, let me move on through this process really quick. All right. Uh, you obviously know that in Jupyter notebooks or Python or these things can do all of this really fast, really clearly. All right. So without, I'm not going to waste time over here. Basically, for a quick immediate refresher, Python can do almost everything. What I'm using right now over here is Visual Studio. You can use Python, you can use Jupyter notebooks, you can use any kind of IDE, or and the latest what I would really like you guys to use is voice is not coming. Can you not hear me clearly? I hope so. Not much. Crappy God. That's why I wanted an in-person lecture. This is not great. Okay. Is it much better now? We can audible. Okay, I'm literally shouting. Okay, thank you so much, guys. This really helps. So I want to really move forward with these things. You already know everything. Just to give a quick assessment or assignment, there is BEDMAS rule, BODMAS rule. If you do something in a print statement, that will work. X equals this, Y equals this. If I just do Z equals X plus Y, that will work. Strings, I'm going to go through everything basic so that very audible, clear, loudly. Thank you so much. So strings, just understand string means single quotes, double quotes. Please make sure strings now in 2025 is very important, because this is the maximum place where you will goof up when you work with any kind of large language models. So if you have to write something string in a very, very long code, let me just write. So this is the way if I have to write a really long string, single quotes, double quotes, and in between these, I can just write what's up, WIDS 5.0, or are you called 2025? I don't know what's the main reason over here, but yeah, in between, I can add single quotes just randomly. I can add double quotes. I can type Titanic or whatever the case is, but it will still work because it is in between multi-level, multi-line comments. So this is quite important over here. Multi-line comments. Okay, I think my screen is not all the way up. So moving on to this printing, you know this X, print X, but always print statements, so that if you're writing words or logs, that really helps. This is fine, right? All of you know this. I can move on to this one. Let's move on to lists. First interview question that I ask even a seasoned data scientist is about lists. Very, very clear. So let me just write over here. Interview question number one. How do you reverse a list? Suppose, okay, this I should not have. So I've downloaded a lot of, how should I say, AI tools, AWS toolboxes. If you want some requests in that, that should also be there. How do you reverse a list? My second and most important interview question that I like to ask. Let me write. How should I write this? Interview question number one. Let me copy paste this. Interview question number two. Since all of you are really smart over here, can you see this? Let me. Can I zoom this? क्या ये zoom होता है? All right. Let me get a text editor. I think that should be easier for you guys to see, or a Word doc, or else I'll continue typing here. Not a problem. Let me create a markdown. Yeah. How do you reverse a list? You all know the answer. There are multiple ways, list or reverse, but the best way, yes, you can write loops, you can write functions, you can write comments. The best way or the real answer I'm looking for is df double colon minus 1. So even here, if you see, it will start typing df, or if I just do something like this, double colon, that is the absolute best answer to reverse a list. Let me execute this so you can see. The easiest and the best way answer, yes, list dot reverse also works. This is a much simpler and easier answer. You can do loop, you can do multiple different ways. Next question immediately. Now, because you are such smarty pants, such real smart guys, how about you reversed a list within a list? Let me convert this cell into a markdown so that now I can really challenge you guys for a little hefty banter. List within a list. Yes, you can do that also. You do this and you tell me what the answer is. Next interview question immediately that I would like to ask you guys is, how you all know how to read a file in Python, correct? Everyone knows how to read a file in Python? Absolutely, yes. Pandas, pd.read.csv. Everyone knows that. Yes, yes, you can do that. But what if, yeah, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, pretty standard. What if I ask you a condition? This is what people do. Don't use pandas. Well, yes, no. Some of you know, some of you don't know. Either way, it's cool. It's fine. That's good enough. So whether you know or you don't know, that's actually a good way to ask. So, but the important thing to understand in this case over here, right? Whether you know how to okay, I think it's going slightly on the right. Condition, don't use pandas. No, don't use. Most of you would know the answer. If you don't know, please go through this. There is, you don't need pandas essentially to read a file. And by the way, I did not ask for a CSV file or any other thing. I asked just read a simple file. What are pandas? Pandas are, depends whether you're asking a data scientist or you're asking a general person. What are we currently doing? Many of us are beginners here. Oh, okay. Thank you for asking this question. Okay. I will come back to this question in a moment, because if you are not doing Python at all, thank you so much for asking that question. Many of you don't know on this. So let me go through this one particular case real fast. You appearances, zoom in. Is this better, guys? I think you can see much clearer now. Now that the case is zoomed in, yeah, much better. All right. Any summary? C++ known? I don't know Python. Okay, that's really great. Uh, Actually, not so. It's fine. It's okay. So Python. This is a quick Python crash course that I wanted to give you guys over here. Um, Tomorrow or in the coming lectures, what I would also like to do is have some other streaming device as well, so that you guys can talk and ask me questions immediately on the same, on the go, that as and when I ask you. So Python is a programming language, to tell you guys in simple. It has become the most versatile language right now, especially with the event of large language models, applications, backend applications, front end applications, everything. To get you started with Python, if you guys know any kind of programming language, any kind, if I had to write a simple um, sum of two numbers, or reversing, or simple addition, class addition, division, or multiplication. Python, you can just do x equals 1, y equals 2, and z equals x plus y. In Python, there are data types, numbers, which are integers as in 1, 2, 3, float as in 2.5, 3.5, string as in characters, print statements, lists, dictionaries, booleans, so on and so forth. There are comparative operators and so on and so forth. Let me take you through this one quick time for the others who already know all of this. Tiny bit of patience, but to keep things interesting, I'll keep supplementing interview questions in between. So it's a win win for all of us. Now, in terms of numbers, some of you have known something called as the PEDMAS or BODMAS rule, or however you call it. Let me type here PEDMAS or BODMAS. Uh, I believe fifth standard mathematics or fourth standard mathematics. So in real life coding, now all the mathematics that you have learned in your school days or even physics, now that will come into practical use case. For the other people who have gone through all of this or who know Python, who know a little bit of data science, I am going to ask you a question. A square, I don't know how to put square over here. Let me just put it on the chat window. A square plus B. Please don't use internet or chat GPT. This is for your mind. It is so that you have a better capture on the same. All right. So I had to put my face over here. Okay, someone has told me from the admin team, put your face. I think, why do you want to see my face? Okay, let me put my face over here at the top. You like seeing my face? I like seeing my face. Okay. A square plus B square. All of you know this formula, right? What was the formula? A plus B the whole square. Yeah. A plus B the whole square. Yeah. We can access the crash course. Okay, that's great. No, this course is called WIDS. I think on the back end they're publishing. Now, a question to the smart guys who already know a Python and data science. A plus B the whole square. Where is this formula used in real life? For the other people, stick to Python who don't know Python crash course. Let me take you through this one more time before we move forward. So going forward, as you can see, I can do statements like these: addition, subtraction, multiplication. Yeah, we know a square plus b square plus 2ab. I know that. But where is it used in real life? Sales, marketing, here, there. Where is it used? That's the real question. Real life. WDYM. I wish I knew the full form of what is WDYM. Okay. Going forward, so you can do division, you can do calculus analysis in Python just by typing a few numbers. What I'm using right now is Schrodinger equations means square. Oh, sorry, that means square. All right. Now, coming forward to PEDMAS and BODMAS rule, you can assign text to objects. Like right now, my object is location, login, password. So I can assign, say, location is Powai, Mumbai. It is used in getting marks in exam. No, that's not the real case. In real life exam, no, no, no. No, that's it's not. It's a really good answer. All right. Don't go to Google yet, although it may not be there, but think real life. I'm thinking really real life. All right. I'll give you a hint. It is used in the construction industry. A plus B the whole square. MSE is suitable. All right. Okay. So X, Y. Now, my print statement question over here was, this is my print statement question. I'm going to put it in 2 lines so you can see. I still have two with a slight nudge here. Okay. So where is IIT Bombay? This is the location print, and all I have to do is type in the location over here. And if I give a print statement without indentation, it will work. So I had to run this. So I had to run the previous well. So IIT Bombay, I just give the location as the location. So it would automatically come. The answer is Powai. Moving forward, go through the slide on your own, guys. This is pretty basic. You will understand what to do or what not to do. Coming back to the other important stuff for the questions, whether it is printing or to find area having side A plus B, construction people have weak calculation. No, that's right. I think Bhargav 999, very unique name, to find the given surface area, basically to calculate carpet area versus construction area. That's where they use this simple equation, A plus B the whole square. Yeah, that's right. Now you can Google and check why this answer, how this answer, what this answer. I'm not gonna bore you with that with those details. Coming back to the other questions, uh, suppose if I have different subjects or numbers in this case, better. All right. Yeah. And you had to see what other variables you wanted to see. For example, number, name, 12, print statements, you can do formatting, and all of this would be done real fast. I think the screen is not completely visible, right? Is this better? Let me just slightly zoom in so you can zoom in the important lecture that is required. Is this better, guys? Yeah, I think this was better. You should have told me if this was not legible. Yeah, it wasn't visible earlier, right? Yeah. Much better, much better. Yeah, I feel this is important as well. Okay. Thank you for not telling me anything. Yeah, but still, yeah, no issues. So this is what I was Googling or using ChatGPT for when you guys came in. I was trying to see uh, why or why is this not working at all. I think you should be able to see a bigger screen. All right. Okay. Where did that go? Visual Studio. All right. Back to VS Code. Ah, much better. Okay. This is so much better for me as well. Thank you. All right. So coming to lists, numbers. I've asked you lists. This is the question that we just where we were about maybe 10-15 minutes ago. How do you reverse a list? This is a simple enough question. What do you mean by a list? List means anything within a square bracket is called a list. Uh, what do you call something to the people? So there are different kind of lists, right? So to give you a clear-cut example, I think the screen is open. Let me give you an example of list. There is a website called, this was my previous client, by the way, Newscorp, newsapi.org. Do some of you know this website? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. But to give you an example of lists, yeah, we'll get you all the files and the versions and everything here. Not a problem. Don't worry about that. List, especially in the world of data science, especially with ChatGPT, you have to understand APIs. We will come to that. I'm giving you some examples. So the way I'm going to give you knowledge is every single thing that I teach you, hopefully it has a practical application immediately. So for this particular case, what I'm showing you right now are news orgs or news characters over here. So for example, the top business headlines or anything. So this is the best way for me. Let's take TechCrunch. So I'm just gonna roll down, and this is what is called is a JSON. I'm not going to take the whole thing, but all right, let me take the entire thing. Come to API. Now in JSON, what do we have? I am going to hijack a little bit of this session and say, explain to you. All of you know JSON, right? JSON is a type of formatting which is widely used almost everywhere. In this case, what is a list? Sorry about frequently switching. List is anything which comes in between a square bracket. So if you have a square bracket, that is a list. Within that list, if I can add another list, so let me write here list 1, list 2, and inside I can write nested list 1. This is uh, this is sort of a format of writing and understanding lists. JSON, coming to JSON, yes, it is similar to array, absolutely. So there are different data types, data formats. We have only come to that. JSON, I'm coming over there. But to give you an example, this is what a JSON looks like, or this can be what a JSON looks like. So what do you see over here? I don't need you to be really smart, or how should I say, techie or or code people. What I need you to understand is business logic over here. So when you see a JSON, what do you immediately identify? That is another data type called dictionary, which you might have seen in the list. Dictionary basically means a key and its pair, key value pair matching. So if there is a key over here, the key is called source, or the key is called name, and the value is TechCrunch. Author, this is the key and this is the value. And dictionary always goes in a key colon value within parenthesis or flower brackets, or sorry, not parenthesis, within flower brackets. So that is these type of brackets. You open this bracket, give your key, give your value within quotes for the value, give a comma, and you close your flower bracket. That is what curly brace is. Thank you. I was getting lost a word for that. Curly braces is what is called. So why are JSON, or why JSON is so important is this is the kind of data which is semi-structured. There are three kinds of data you have. Structured data, which is your Excel file, rows, columns, which I am pretty sure even your mom, or even in some cases your grandpa, can see and read and understand, because they are from a baby boomer generation who understood rows and columns very well. Then came JSON structures for the nerds and the coders, which is something like us, which relates to news APIs or any kind of different APIs. Then the later generation, what we have is called unstructured data. Right now, what all of you can see in the chat history, start thinking like a coder. This is semi-structured. There is a name and there is a certain comment, like curly braces, what Ujjwal said, four Draco Malfoy four. I don't know what that four means in that quote, but hopefully that's great. Is comment yeah or yeah. So this is still semi-structured data. Really unstructured data is Instagram analytics data, what you will see on the back end. If you go to developers.meta.com, or if you go to developer.google.com, and if you have any kind of APIs, logins, and if you want to see in the last year what was your activity with Instagram or with YouTube, or if you guys are really, how should I say, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, if you're using Snapchat or TikTok, so those kind of data would be just dot comma dot how. So how do you determine what is semi-structured and what isn't? If there are clean, uh, if you're able to identify immediately that is semi-structured, JSON is a best example what I'm showing you right now. This is a semi-structured data. Structured, you have no problem, right, in understanding. Unstructured, you have no problem in understanding. Unstructured data is basically I open a Word file or a PDF document. There's just data over there. Or if you guys, I feel, what is an API? I I really don't know the full form. I mean, I should know the full form. That is really bad of me. So someone would ping it immediately. API is a way of connecting something you built, something. It can be a code, it can be an app, and it can be the end of an application. Think of it this way, a way of connecting one application to the other. And in that application, also an API can, for example, ChatGPT API, application program interface. Thank you so much for that. So, an API in simple sense is for one application to talk to the other application. For example, right now you are typing and texting something in your chat box in your laptop and your homes, and that is being carried through. If I select and give a reaction to this, okay, I can't give a reaction to this, but suppose if I give some sort of uh, I don't know what this reaction is, but I'm going to send it. I don't know what that means. That means not talking. Suddenly I feel like 100-year-old guy. All right, so if I send this reaction and if you see it and if you react to the reaction, then some sort of programming is built on the back end, triggering it that this person gave a reaction, this person did not give a reaction. How many times did it give? Oh, speechless. My God, I would not have been able to guess that. So those reactions, the time, date, and application process, that's how APIs are triggered. All right, now let's move forward to our work, please. We'll hitch back to JSON later on. Coming back to real Python, the lists or language that you want to have a C. Where am I? Why is JSON not structured? JSON is semi-structured. I want to go deep into that and give you a case study or an example in the same, but I want to be mindful of the others who, on one side of the spectrum, don't know coding, and the other side of the spectrum who know data science as well, a real part, which is probably day two or day three where we really start. So this one day, is this backend data, is the backend data unstructured? What do you think? No, 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 no. Front end, back end, structured, unstructured, kuch. There's nothing. Wow. Please keep asking questions. This really helps me understand where I'm going. Um, all right. Back end, front end, we can come to that when we actually build a back end and front end. We will be using Streamlit also to build front end. The main difference between unstructured and semi-structured is unstructured data does not have any kind of headers. It does not say what this is. A simple um, example of an unstructured data would be if you write a poem. That's the easiest and best example. Or if I show you any kind of sensors data from or any kind of CCTV data without any logs. Suppose if I give you, so here is a classical example of an unstructured data. This is unstructured data. I know it's a list, but imagine if I have this list in many different ways. This is unstructured data. There are no headers to identify what is this data, how is this data, how is this formed. In terms of semi-structured structured data, you will have headers, for example, column names. What is this row to do or what not to? Unstructured, semi-structured data, you will still have some sort of sense or understanding whether this is, by the way, this is unstructured data, all of this, but this is in pair with a dictionary. So that is key value pair. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is Lauren Forstale. If I just give you Lauren Forrestal, okay, whatever her name is, or if I give the name TechCrunch, it can mean anything. Only if I tell you, no, TechCrunch is a name, or TechCrunch is a place, or TechCrunch is an ID, or TechCrunch is a name of an event, then you're able to associate that unstructured data with some sort of information. That is how you have to see or understand what is semi-structured or unstructured data is. Let me come back to this one real quick. So lists, rows, columns. You can, it's not necessary everything what you see in blue, it is user generated or user given. You don't have to write my list. I can write this, where is this? I can write this person's name. I think I am Draco. Oh, Draco from Harry Potter. Okay, now I understand. Right, right. I wasn't able to make that connection. So now I have just run Draco and I have asked Draco to be a list right now. So if I were to just say copy and paste Draco, it would be a list, or it would be, what was her name? Hermione, whatever the name was. Probably wrong spelling. So Draco is ABC Hermione. But here I can say it a list can be anything: letters, numbers, digits, alphabets, anything, and I can do. Now, what can't I do is basically this particular thing, Draco, HP, or user given, or whatever. This is a user given. This is user generated object. This would still run because it is there in the memory. But if I write something like this, user, my user, this would throw an error because it is case sensitive at important places. So I have to give the correct case point over here for you to understand. And for the other people who ask me how to reverse a list, this is how you basically essentially reverse a list from start to end. You can append the list. For example, in this case, okay, this work, I have to update the list, say my list dot append dot Thanos. And if I just type over here, and if I execute this, append in the sense add one more item into the list as and when we are talking. So append means adding something into the list. Yes, it is still basics. Some of us wanted to have a look at the basics. So let's go forward. Let's keep it interesting so that Shreyas doesn't feel much boring over here. Okay, Shreyas, so I'm going to ask you a interview question. Slicing, yes, you can do many ways. I'm just going to scroll through this particular example lists. So all the examples are already generated and given over here. I can select items between the lists over here. Let's do one thing, guys. If I know there are people who really want to go through a little harder or tougher version, actually it'll be a good idea. Let's go through some sort of a data analysis exercise. Yes, I think that would be best. And let's go directly with Pandas introduction. And to give you a best example, let me take you through a natural language processing or a linear regression example. Let's come to a little bit on pandas. I think that will be useful. So basically, what is pandas? Some of you asked this question. So in this section, we'll see or we'll learn how to use pandas for data analysis. Pandas is an inbuilt library in Python, which which is used essentially for all kinds of data analysis. There are multiple libraries called pandas, called NumPy, called scikit-learn. So it's basically you can refer to pandas something like a Python software for any kind of data manipulation and analysis. So a question for the other guys. If you can read, let's do a poll. Who actually we can do a poll if who are on basics and who are not. That would be actually a great idea. Why didn't you do one thing? Why didn't you do an internal poll on your WhatsApp group and send me the screenshot? Or Aryan, if the moderators are over here, you can let me know. I'm more than happy to take that as well. Do an internal poll. Let me just tell these guys. Um, do an internal poll. Real quick. All right. The other guys. Who are the other guys? The other guys are your organizers from the Analytics Club. So, Aryan, do an internal poll. Aryan, Tanya, and let me know what it is. Meanwhile, I'll continue with pandas. So, pandas is basically an introduction, and the way you can think of pandas is any kind of data analysis that or data manipulation that you can do. Uh, So over here, you can see that There are series, there are data frames, there are missing data grouped by so much so that you can do with pandas. Um, so the first thing let's to do is for you to understand what is a series. This is what we do in Python to import any kind of libraries. We just write import pandas or import numpy. That's it. If you want to import a library, this is essentially you do. For your ease or satisfaction, we write as an alias as PD. It doesn't have to be PD. It can be my name also as Avilash, as WIDS, whatever the way it is. And every relating code, what I need to write, I can write Avinash dot read underscore CSV. I can do this is a basic pandas read document. If you want to read a CSV file, or if you want to read an Excel file, or if you want to basically read a PDF file or a Parquet file, there are so many options with pandas. So there is Parquet, Excel, clipboard, something that you have copied from the clipboard, Feather. I hope you understand what a clipboard is, right? If you just do Control C on your machine, it will show you a clipboard. Can you guys see these options? Oh, just there, Parquet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this back to numpy.np so that my other code does not break. Now PD would work as it has to. All right, now creating a series in lists. So far what you have seen is lists, dictionaries, booleans. If I have not covered anything else over here in the basic crash course, please go over these files. I'll be sharing the same with you. So there are questions for you guys. Please go through these questions, like what is 7 to the power of 4. So basically 7 to the power of 4, not exactly 7 into 4, right? That's not the answer. It is 7 to the power of 4. So here, so this is what power of 4 basically means. This is what I mean to say. This will not work, but there is also another notebook where I have given all the answers over there for all the questions. So try to go through these questions. So crash course exercise, these are questions, these are solutions. Similarly, I have a Python crash course for numbers, data science, and other, and I have another two crash courses, solutions, notebooks for the same. So try to go through them, and once go through them at your own pace, that will be really helpful. Similarly, we let's start with, I think I started with Python pandas introduction, so let's go with pandas. NumPy was a step before, not a problem. Let's continue with pandas. So yes, 7 double for power 4, that will be there now. Series. In pandas, there is something called a series. A series is very similar to NumPy array or any kind of array. Okay, I should have shown you what is an array, but not a problem. Um, as you can see and read over here, a series would be helpful, yeah, in terms of understanding that you can have axis labels like x-axis or y-axis in a series. If I give this is the year from 1990 to 2025 or 26, I can have that in a series, and that particular object, like for example x-axis, and you have all the data, that is called as a series. I'll give you more examples, not to worry in the same. This particular class is majorly for intros and understanding. So uh, there has been an internal poll which says 70 basic and 7 advanced. Um, I'm going to ask them do another one for the other WhatsApp group. So most of you are saying basic, all right, not a problem. So let's have a look at this. The 7 advanced people who are there, please show a little bit of patience for your friends. And if you're not able to hear anything, or if you want to ask me a difficult question, then please don't hold your punches. Go ahead. Okay, you got the results. I'm not in the group, by the way, so you would know better. Um, so this is what a series basically means. So pd.series, this is the way it is written. This is the way this coding format or structure is. You can write data equals my list. My list can be anything. In this particular case, my list is 10, 20, 30. It is a list. And you don't necessarily have to write data equals. Think of it as I'm right now spoon feeding you a little bit of information. So when you write pd.series where this data is my list, this is what a series becomes. Now when you add data and labels, so write something like index. So 10 is to 1, 10 becomes A, B, C, because labels over here, what I'd write, let me add labels, say A, WIDS 1, uh, WIDS 2, and WIDS, I'm not going to write C, I'm going to write Hodor, because I like Game of Thrones that much. So when I give this series, and by the way, I think I mentioned this before. If not, let me tell you a simple thing. In Python, in a list, for example, there are one, two, three items in this list and three items in my list as well. So Python doesn't start with, if you have to count, for example, let me give you an example. If I have to select the first item in my list, which obviously you guys know the answer is 10. So if I type the first item in the list, it's going to come as 20. Python starts with 0 internally in terms of numbering. So 10 is the 0th position. When I say 0, I mean in terms of the indexing or the position. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3. So here, if I ask my list 1, or if I ask the 0th position, that will come as 10. Or even if I say labels, what is the 0th position or the first position? That will be WIDS 1. Hopefully, some of the advanced guys know of this, but if you don't know, if it's a good refresher, more than happy to see. The quick question, so 0 is 10, 1 is 20, and 2 is 30. In the same case, when I wanted to ask you, if I type in -1, what do you think will happen? If I type labels -1, basically what it'll do is it'll go from the back, it'll go from reverse. So in this case, WIDS Hodor would be placed or would be printed over here. So -1. So you can ask, so can I do -2? Yes, you can do -2. Can I do -3? Oh, yes, definitely you can do -3. Can I do -4? No, definitely you cannot do -4. That is the universe. 3 digits, that's it. 0, 1, 2, or you can say -1, -2, -3. Yeah, in minus, there is no 0. It's a wraparound. Simple as that, right? The last one. Exactly. In this particular case, when I asked you a previous question, if I have to reverse a list, obviously now you know this is the answer. Why is this? Because this is my second interview question to the smart guys over here, the 7 or 8 of you. Why is this reversing a list? What is that double colon -1? Why is that? I'm going to ask a super simple question, and some people out there, when I'm interviewing them, they type so fast in ChatGPT or in Gemini or Google, or the phone placed right over here, and I could literally hear them clicking so loudly. Why does it go double colon minus one? Why is it? Yeah, you can give me slices. I think Ujjwal gave me something. It slices, it steps, in the index. Very nice. But now going to ask you the third interview question in the same line. मेरे को सिंपल भाषा में समझा ये क्या है ये स्लाइस वाइज इमेजिन आई डोंट नो डेटा साइंस आई एम वन ऑफ दोज 60-70 पीपल नॉट इवन बेसिक आई एम अ कंप्लीट नर्ड आई डोंट इवन नो ये क्या है स्लाइस वाइज का मतलब क्या है डबल कोलन माइनस वन ये डबल कोलन क्या है व्हाट इज दिस डबल कोलन tell me in an absolute simple language something if I have to explain it to a 5-year old or if I have to explain this to my father who is a business guy who doesn't understand coding what is this double colon minus one मतलब क्या है इसका so that is the third important question guys that this is the kind of interview questions real basic don't think कि large language model को fine tune कैसे करना है or how do you want to do this so yeah, this is a nice question. We want to traverse list from start to end with steps minus one. That's a really good answer. Great. Yeah, that really works. For some other people who want to know what is this, I've just typed a single colon and it gave me everything. Yeah, it means you start from zero and end to zero, proceeding with a step of minus one. That is correct. What is this? Labels single colon. I just gave double colon some time back. Now I'm giving you a single colon. What is this? What is this happening? Just going from start to end. That is correct. So in this particular case, think of it as rows and columns. We don't have rows and columns in this one, right? Yeah, start to end. Default step is a set as one. That is great. That is a good answer, whether you have looked it up, whether you know it already. Either way, I'm going to accept that answer. That's really nice. So if I do double colon, अब क्या होगा? Now tell me. Start to end default steps minus one, Sunil. Now tell me. It worked with double colon also. Now what is happening? Is Python broken internally? You said start, colon, end. Time complexity, okay. We are not going to go in space-time fabric as of yet, but the answer is quite reverse. No. The answer is quite easier and simpler. It doesn't have to do anything of this. Now is the time you can open ChatGPT or Google or whatever, and internally ChatGPT would really understand, okay, now these fellows are asking me not just tough, difficult questions, but they're asking me really basic but very unique and difficult questions. So start end step, yes, but double colon. So in any case, in when we come to something called as a data frame, rows and columns, right? Here is how I'll be using. So anything, so this essentially means rows and this essentially means columns, rows, columns. But in a certain case, when I do a double colon in between, yes, you can say default step, everything is minus one. Think of it this way, just to not to overcomplicate you guys. Rows, colon, columns. So which row, which column in later cases when I have a, I can say the first row and the second column, it would print. Right now it will not because there is only a single list over here. So coming back to labels, it so I cannot just type an empty. It does not accept empty. You have to give something. So in this case, if I just give a single colon, it is going to by default print everything in a particular list. All right, good questions, good interview questions. Let me write this so it's important. What's list? Writing this so that I can share this with you. What's I'm just gonna write what's this. I'm gonna copy this Okay, smart, smart guy or girl, or I'm just gonna say smart student for now. Okay, smart guy. What's this? These are some of the very critical or important interview questions that we come across where really seasoned data scientists are also not able to answer. This is where we want a real help from you guys. I know it's basics. I do understand. My entire objective in this entire WIDS is to ask or to give you practical applications. If I'm not able to give you practical application, I'm definitely going to give you interview questions throughout the series. Hopefully, I'll do a good job. All right, now using lists. So to write something called a series, which we just saw, data equals my list and index equals labels. Now you're going to give an index for this particular series. For example, yeah, okay, I think I messed up the labels. So WIDS1 is these are the labels, and this is the data of the label. WIDS is value is 10, 2 is 20, and odor is 30. So if I print my list and labels, this would come over here. Now let's go to arrays or print an array. We had given the value of array on the top. Let me not go above. Let me just type over here. I gave the value of array something like this, 10, 20, and 30. Now I'm going to convert this into a series, the same loop and logic, what I'd shown earlier. I don't have to type data equals this, labels equal, or this is what we saw, right? Where is it? Yeah, data equals this, index equals this. These are, how should I say, training wheels for you guys to understand. The first object, what we write here will be data. The second object, what we write will be labels. Now you can ask me a question, which I hope you should ask. How do you decide what it goes? So when some really smart people or the creators of pandas or anyone else, when they created this, or if you want to see what really goes in deep, anytime if you have a question with the syntax, the structure, the format, capital, small letter of a given particular code, all you need to do is write a question mark, type pd dot s series, and run that. Basically 1 minute, it just went up. So I just ran this and it gave this entire structure. You don't, please, this is not required. If you run this, it may not work. Okay, where did it go? This may not go. You, so when you give the bracket, it is executing. Don't give the bracket, pd dot series, whatever it is. You run this and immediately, not just related to pandas, anything, you just give a question mark at the front. Internally, this is a really cool or a good exercise for you to understand that what is given where in terms of the order, the syntax, the number, whether it is case sensitive, whether it is string or boolean, whatever it is. So for some people who are using or not using ChatGPT, if you just do a question mark, it will automatically say what is pd.series. It's a one-dimensional n array. I hope you guys know what is n-dimensional arrays, right? One dimension, two dimension, three dimension, multi dimensions. So I hope all of you have seen the movie called Interstellar, where they created something called as a, what was that thing called, a wormhole, right? And you might think the wormholes, so everyone knows the wormhole is not circular in circular two dimension, spherical three dimension. So those calculations in terms of n dimension, yeah, tesseract is a fancy thing what we want to see or understand. It's not exactly a cube, by the way. Tesseract is not a cube. I mean, to explain to you guys, it is shown as a cube within a cube or something like that. Tesseract. Let me throw you an example in this way, right? Oh, okay, two examples or questions which I had. One, okay. Interview question. Great. Time for another interview question. Mark down. Why is a soap bubble round or spherical? Smart guys. Why is a soap bubble round or spherical? Yeah, 4D cube and everything will come later on. Why is a soap bubble round? Surface tension, minimize surface energy, Hertz choice, minimum surface energy, Stokes law. Simple language में बोलो मेरे को. Give me in simple language that I can understand. I'm not a genius. Think of it. Yeah, I'm a curious 5-year-old. Why is a soap bubble round? Due to ST, surface area, surface tension. Simple language. Come on. Surface tension pulls from every direction towards the center. Least surface for the same. I will accept that answer actually. That is quite correct. I have an easier answer. I should have written most. It's the most energy efficient. As simple as that. What you have written, everything is correct. All the answers are acceptable. They are correct. A soap bubble is round, spherical, because it is the most energy efficient. Yes, everything what you've spoken about, um, surface tension and energy. What happens when you give a soap bubble round, right? It goes in so that it doesn't burst. It doesn't have to go away, right? So for a sphere, so in this particular case, right? By the way, if you are going to do some PhD and you come back someday and tell me, no, my answer is wrong, more than happy to discuss that. Absolutely. I am right today. Tomorrow I might be wrong. So that's the great thing about science. So School of DS, by the way, initially it used to stand for data science. We are thinking to incorporate it as digital science. Let's see. So far we are good at data science. The other part we'll see. So coming back to this questions, n-dimensional array, the point I was trying to drive you from the movie Interstellar or Tesseract is they did multiple of their calculations with n-dimensional array, majoritarily using Python, series, and NumPy to do maximum of their mathematical calculations for using n-dimensional arrays. All of you know, right? We all live in 3 dimensions, with fourth dimension being time. If you have to calculate to fifth dimension, sixth or nth dimension, this is the place where you would start, because calculations in Python are very easy to deconstruct. We have a number of professors, as in our clients with Chicago Booth University and Carnegie Mellon University, who efficiently use different, they are transitioning to Python from MATLAB, from Octave as programming languages to Python. So it's quite easier. All right, coming down, moving to series, arrays, NPIs. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. Data and labels. Let's come to using a little bit on indexes. This would be a little simpler, or this would be a little bit challenging for you guys. So when I write something as an index, let's say I'm calling, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we move on from soap bubble. It's okay. Soap bubble burst ho gaya. Leave it. छोड़ दो soap bubble go. uh, let's come to indexes, right? So index, I've already told you, like in this particular case, 11, 12, 13, this is a PD or a pyth or a pandas series, a series, right? Where there are multiple things. So I have the data, I have indexes, and when I run this particular series over here, right? Let me run this. So I have series 1 and series 2. So if I have to get the value over here of, um, let's say USSR, the value that we have given is, let's add some zeros, else it won't work, else it looks a bit stupid. So value of USSR, okay, still small. USSR should be bigger, one of the biggest allies of India. So just as an example, the value or so I've given an index. So for index USSR, the value is 32,000. I can, instead of typing SER, if I type, it's going to give me all the index and their relevant data. What I'm trying to tell you over here is using an index to find out the correct value. For example, if I type Japan, the value of Japan is this, because this is what we have given. Please note that anything related to text is being given in quotes. Anything not related or numbers are directly been given. So here in this pandas series, I have a square bracket over here, which is the data as we saw earlier, and index particularly I'm mentioning as USA, Germany, China. So if I have to get the value of Japan, this is one way, or I can do something like the third place or the fourth place. Now I get the value of the index, which is Japan, number three. Don't think if I have to do -1, I'll still get this value. That is not correct, because now this is not a list. It's a series. It's a pandas series. So that's why you 1, 2, 3 is one way to get the value, or the third one, Japan or China. Moving forward, let's have a look at this other particular series. Again, index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've run this. If I were to select US again, this would work. Now, what can we do? Can we add two series together? Definitely, yes, you can add two series together. So that essentially works. What is the advantage of using series and dictionaries? We're coming to that. Series is a small part of a data frame. A data frame has rows and columns. You'll just see that in a moment. This part is done. Let me come to something called data. Yeah, open it. Okay, there is a data.xlx file. I mean Excel file data. Let's go to that. So import data. There are two other libraries. I think NumPy. I have to show you real quick, else you will not understand. Uh, but not a problem. Let's go through this data frames. This is important. So there is a library called NumPy as well. Please take your time, go through it. Import NumPy. There is something called this array is for your understanding. You can write anything else. You can write Avinash. You can write your name. Why do I keep writing Draco? Do I not know anyone else? What was the other guy's name? Uh, Hagrid. Hagrid. Be the worst pronunciation or spelling. Hagrid? Hagrid? What is the error? Because I didn't run Hagrid. No, I think it is Hagrid only. Okay. So if I type Hagrid, ARR will not work because nothing is ARR as of now. I did not define it. So Hagrid is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So NumPy, if you do NumPy.arrange, it will give you so many digits in NumPy. Go through this. It's pretty straightforward. There's nothing for me to really hold your hand. Indexing, NumPy operations. There are multiple different operations that you can do: division, multiplications. There are multiple universal functions. For example, square root. You can do square root of an entire array. What I mean is basically, let me show you. If I am, let me show you this. If I'm writing an array, basically, I think I did not execute this. So array right now is having the values of 0 to 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I just do array divided by or multiplied by 4, yeah, 4, automatically you can do multiplications with the array itself. You cannot do this with a list, with an array, because, by the way, NumPy stands for numerical operations in Python. Numerical pi, NumPy. Any kind of mathematical operations is NumPy. So this entire, if I'm creating a NumPy np dot arrange or just an array with p dot something, I can do mathematical operations to the entire list. I don't have to do manually. So I can do array, I can do array into its own self. I can do it actually multiple times, and it works. That's how you. But by the way, this is not saving the responses over here. So if I type array again, don't think it has saved the responses. It is still there. If I have to save the responses, for example, I have to assign it to another object. Everything in Python, assigning objects comes on the left hand side. I should have told you that earlier, but hopefully I can tell you this. Let me type new array. And if I type equal to, now new array has the value what we discussed already. New array has the value of multiplied array into array on its own. If I further continue to do anything with new array, like for example into 10 or 20, it will show you, it will execute it immediately, but it will not save into the object unless you specify it. Hope that is clear, guys. All right, good. I will try to move a bit faster. You can tell me to move faster, slower, not a problem. So all of this is array, and there is again exercises, how to import array, how to count array to zeros, and there are solutions. Don't go through solutions immediately. Try to break your head a little bit. All right. Coming back to data frames over here as an option. So what exactly are data frames? So data frames is the powerhouse of pandas or workhorse or whatever you want to say. So essentially what data frames does in any kind of course of life is basically, if let's say let's say if I have to understand a certain course or element, let's say if, one second, all right, if I have to take you through, yes, you can use loops as well. Uh, except Harry, anything works except Harry. Everything works. Any kind of name works. Now, let me type something over here. Let me bring this to the next line so you can clearly. And to fine. So by the way, what I just did was I used #br. These That's okay, fine. Data frames are basically the powerhouse or the powerhouse or the workhorse of pandas, directly inspired by our programming language. There's a programming language called R. I'm pretty sure some of you or most of you know. So coming to data frames, you would need both. Actually, you only need pandas, import pandas. NumPy I'm using so that I can populate some data with numbers and words. The way to write a data frame is this: pd dot data frame, D capital, F capital, open close parenthesis. You would mess up on this initial sometimes. So there is a quick and easy hack for this. You must have seen in my machine there is code auto completion. pd dot data data frame, that you guys can see code auto completion over here, right? Data frame, offset, data index, date range, to date time. This comes from a tool package. I have put that in the sheets as well. Yeah, okay. So I have put that. There is something called as an AWS toolkit. There is another toolkit called um, Agent Zero. I'll give you those toolkit names as well. So installing those toolkits is quite easy. You just click over here in Visual Studio Code, and if you're using anything else like Jupyter Notebook or anything, still I'll give you those. Not a problem. Easy to get more information. Hack to get more information. Good. I thought I did not write that, but okay, good. Hack to get any information. Okay, why did this not work? Convert. this into a cell above. By the way, in markdown cells, if I type one bracket or one hash, it is heading number one. If I increase if I increase the number of hashes, it is heading 2, 3, 4, smaller and smaller. That's how it goes. So hack to get more information, just give a question mark pd.dataframe and you will get it. If I have to execute this, I'll get more information. Okay, I think I did not import. All right, pd.dataframe. There you go. This is what is important. In pd.dataframe, you give data, and this part itself is sufficient. You can give index as an axis. You can give columns, column names. You can give data types. You can give Boolean or whatever it is. So basically, data frame is a two-dimensional rows and columns structured table in simple sense. What is a data frame? A data frame is a table with structure in the sense not just the column names, column types. So this is called as metadata. All right, the autocomplete doesn't make me remember syntax myself. Is that detrimental? Uh, Good to have. This is not a pen paper exam. That is also a good question, guys. But so the way what is happening is we are actually losing touch of writing syntaxes. The newer generation, they are losing touch of actually talking in English or conversing in English or framing full sentences. That's why you have this Dululu and Sululu, which I really don't understand. But then again, I might be from millennial, so I might. Okay, it is delusional and Solulu. I forgot Solulu. What was that? Anyways, so the idea is English in today's world is your greatest weapon because ChatGPT or any other applications, they need clear, non-ambiguous instructions, ideally in a JSON format and with crystal clear grammar without spelling mistakes. So that's why many people nowadays, even my colleagues, I advise them, your grammar has gone for a toss. Use that, give it to another chat window and ask it to rephrase the prompt again in a proper manner. We have multiple rules and regulations how to frame a prompt as well before we insert it into a large language model for prompt engineering or for RAG applications or multiple different ways. But to answer your question whether it's detrimental or not, I think you'll understand. So you have to understand the syntax in that way. For other things, there is a lot of help. So autocomplete, it's a good to have. It's an additional tool. That is about it. Yeah. Coming to over here, this can also be a, so right now what I have in front of, let's actually go to this example. I'm going to create a data frame with random numbers, 5 random numbers. Within 4, I have indexes A, B, C, D, E dot split, columns W, X, Y, Z. Let me just print that. I think if name brand is not, did I not read the library? I think I did not. Okay. Now here I'm going to import a library from NumPy called random. From numpy.random, import a well-defined function called random n numbers, and I'm going to set the seed. So what does setting the seed do basically is if you want to uh, create this experiment later, seed helps. So basically seed helps to get the same random numbers again and again. If I don't set this seed number from random, you can understand every time a new random number will be originated. So I'm going to create a data frame, an empty data frame called df. This is what df looks like. As of now, nothing. There is absolutely nothing in df over now. I'm going to scroll over down and I'm going to now have df dot Not shape. Let me just type and show you df. Oh, I think it's there. And let me show you, there is something called shape, which basically says rows and columns. There are 5 rows in the data frame called df. Df stands for data frame. Again, it's a user defined function, guys. For this particular color code set, anything on the left hand side of the equal to sign, it can be df2, 3, 4, can be anything. Like I think I just wrote df234, right? It can be absolutely anything. So it can be your name, it can be a function. Df is just written as it is. So df.shape, one particular example is basically, if I have to ask how many rows and columns, if I just do df.shape, I will immediately see, okay, there are 5 rows. I mean 5 rows and 4 columns. The column names are w, x, y, z. Row names are a, b, c, d. Just numbers, plain simple numbers, nothing to do. Selection and indexing. If I have to select the row names, actually this might be a little confusing. Let me type c1 column, c2, c3, c4. This is much better. Let's call it row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, and row 5. Much better. So this way there'll be no confusion in certain ways. Now, if I have to do some sort of um, column selection or indexing or selection or in anything in that case, right? If I just select a particular column, df.w will not work right now, obviously, because I have changed it. There is no w. So if I type c1 as in our column 1, you will get, okay, apologies, yeah, it went down. So df.c1, you'll get everything related to this. Now, if I have to pass 2 column names, for example, instead of w and z, if I am calling column 1, column 2, just bear with me. I'm going to take you through a real example so you'll understand. You can select 2 columns this way. For 1 column, single bracket is sufficient. For 2 or multiple columns, you have to maintain this list. So within the list, to give you an example, you have to give another C2 or let's say C3, so on and so forth. And this entire list has to be given within a within another square brackets as well, so that it's easier. Or for the data frame, okay, it has to be given in a data frame. That's where the first square bracket is. The second square bracket is for selection of the columns. So if you have to pass a list of column names, is the way you do. There is another way if your column names does not have spaces. For example, right now I have written just C1, right? If I just type df dot C1, this will still work. But now you don't have the column header, so to say. And if I give dot C1, I don't have to give those quotes. I don't have to give it in a string format, is what I'm trying to tell you. But if I give it within square brackets, I have to give quotes, close the brackets, and now you will see, okay, I have this with me. Only if I want, let's say, the column headers as well in my given example, then I give a second square bracket. Okay. If you want to know what kind of uh, so there is something called as type. Anything you just write type, type. And in this particular case, instead of this, I'm just going to type df.c1. What is the type of this particular column? Obviously, it is a series. That's what, and within the series, it is all numbers and numerics and now coming forward, there is two important things you can immediately get is with a keyword called info, and there is another keyword called describe. df.ds describe. Let me show you info first. By the way, for commenting in Python, if you just type a hash at the front, it will comment. So info will give you the information of this entire data frame, how many columns, not the number of rows, but just the columns, and whether they are null, not null, what is the type. I just asked you type, right? So all of this is float because there are numbers. If I have to create a new column, which is super easy in Python, all I have to do is df.new. I This is just an example. I can just give rows and I just can give the values of the columns. In this particular case, if I give a new example over here, say C1, C2, and immediately if I type new, here is the new column, which is the addition of C1 and C2. 0.99 plus 0.19. Okay, why is it 0.79? Oh, because C1 was minus 0.99. All right. Yeah, you get the example. And if I have to remove a particular column, there is something called as df.drop. So I think you might be seeing a pattern with how should I say, with Python, all the keywords, all the coding keywords, they are just plain English. There's nothing new or basic. I mean, there is nothing complicated. I saw earlier. Can you guys quickly type what kind of languages you know good? Like, is it C or HTML or Java or what is it? Can you just type? Yeah, I'll tell you what is Axis One. Can you just type what is the language you are familiar with? Any kind of programming language, just whatever language. High level language. I don't know what is high level language. C++ is a high level language, of course. So C++, Python, HTML. So if I have to write a simple, how should I say, um, the sum of two numbers in any other language, whether it is C++ or C sharp or simple C, I have to do something called as studio input output. There is a format and brackets, but in Python there is no such way. It is quite straightforward and simple. There are just a few rules, um, a little bit of case sensitivity towards the keywords, but everywhere else it is not case sensitive. You give it this way, that way, it really doesn't matter. Someone asked me what is axis 1. So previously we just added a column, right? Now if I have to drop this column, so I just type say df.drop, oh, sorry, df.drop and axis 1, and this way the column will be dropped. So when I say axis 1, it means y axis, the column axis. There is no axis 2 or 3. There is axis 0 and that is axis 1. That's it. There are only two axes. Axis 0 is your horizontal row axis. Axis 1 is your vertical column axis. Is that clear, guys? AXIS. Axis 1 is columns. Axis equals 0 is rows. What I mean to say is you can drop the entire column or you can drop a specific row. Slowly, I'm moving towards data analysis where you will be handling missing values. Has everyone seen the movie Titanic? By okay, don't say yet. Are you aware of the movie Titanic? The story outline, apart from the love story, like it started someplace, it ended someplace, many people died. Is everyone aware? Yes, no, thumbs up. Thumbs up would do. Some emoji, heart, some new kind of emoji which I have no clue of. Okay, one or two. Give me a thumbs up or something, guys. Everyone knows the story of Titanic. When I say story, it means the data, some data level of Titanic. Give me a thumbs up, a heart, anything, yes, so that I know. Okay, most of you don't know what is Titanic. Okay, that's great. All right. Okay, moving on. So in Titanic, basically what happens is a lot of people get aboard a boat. They ride a boat Something happens in between the boat, we are not bothered. That's privacy data. But what ultimately happens is the boat hits an iceberg and it drowns, it crashes, and it sinks. But not a boat, I should call it a ship. But majority of the people who survived were women and children, and the other people, and amongst that also there were class passengers, first class, second class, third class passengers, right? Majoritarily the first class passengers, and also from that the women and children survived. If you ask a data scientist what is the Titanic movie about, it is about how many people survived Titanic. 1 0, one survived, zero did not survive. There is a website called Kaggle, all of you must be aware. Titanic. So there is a machine learning disaster or a machine learning use case with Titanic. There is data, there is code. All you have to do or understand from this data set, if I show you the data set over here, is these are the column names of Titanic. Survival, passenger class as in P class, survival. This is going to be our target variable. Whether they survived, no. Whether they survived, yes. Passenger class, sex, age, number of siblings, which parchment, how many parents, ticket number, fare as in the price of the ticket, cabin, embarked. There are multiple variables, so there is a very good use case or understanding this entire Titanic use case. There are a lot of code executions done by a lot of different people, leaderboard rules, but this is where you are interested in the data. There's a training and test data. We'll come to this a bit later on. We'll understand this more clearly if required. But before we do all of that, let's come over here. So drop axis. If I run df again, the column new is still there. If I have to really uh, run this, if I have to drop it, and if I have to save it in df, there is one thing that I can do is I can type in place equals true, and this way if I drop it again, new, the column is now permanently gone. I can drop column E or say E, A, B, C, D, E, the row E from axis, and that will be disappeared. This way I can select a particular row, but E is not there, I think. Let me drop row number 2. So row 2 is deleted, but again, this is not saved. If I were to run this entire data frame again, row 2 would be there because you need to save it. Two ways you can save it is either if you type df equal to, so this action, this coding logic saved back to df. This is one way, or the other way is you can do in place equals true. You type this, then you don't have to run this way. The row df now is row 2 is deleted, row 1, 3, 4, 5. You have it as it is. uh What was your question? I'm sorry, I did not understand. Is there a question? Please tell us what was the reason you set seed 101? What can we set seed to and what difference will it make? Thank you for asking the question again. Um, seed 101 is random. I'm a Marwadi guy, so everything has to end with 101 or 108. For me, you can set anything. You can set seed 1. It really doesn't matter. Some number, some integer number. Don't set 1.456. Some integer number. You can set it 5, 6, 7, 8 for all I care. And now the seed is seed number. This seed number is set so that when you recreate this experiment later, only for randomness. That is about it. Where you had to get some random numbers for the rows, right? Here, let me show you where did we go. Yeah, random numbers. Let me thank you for asking that question. Random 5 rows and 4 columns. Random n numbers from positive to negative, ones, zeros, whatever it may be. Anything. I can also run it like this. Random, just give me random 5 numbers. Random 5 comma 4 or 5 comma 10. If I give something like this, it says, oh, an array of 5 rows and 10 columns. This is 5 rows, by the way. You might see more, but look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 rows. Let me actually make it 1 row. So you will see what I mean. So the entire thing is 1 row and give me 3 columns. If I run this multiple number of times, what like this randomness, if I run it for the first time, I will get the similar thing. If I don't set seed, say 101, if I set seed 101 again, and if I set say 5 comma 4, I will get the same similar number the first time only when I ran the experiment. So if you want to see similar numbers, you are saying different numbers. That's why 101 was set. That is about it. Okay. Yeah, you said right. Yeah, that is correct. I don't know what this dinosaur, pink dinosaur emoji means. Maybe I should take a masterclass from you guys. What does every new emoji mean? And is there are multiple different ways of smiley faces? I see so many different. I saw a blue heart yesterday. God knows what that means. All right, moving forward. C1, C2, you've got a good handle of data frames, of information, of numbers. There is something called as location also you can do. You can drop row 2, axis 0 in place 2, what we just did. You can do it from I location. So A, I think I removed A from this exercise. So that will be row 1. So if I have to locate row 1, this entire row 1, so column 1's value, column 2's value, column 3's value, column 4's value, I can pick one row and this entire row, what was the use, or I can do I location as well. I lock as in I location. There is a difference between lock and I lock in index valuing location and normal location. For example, by I can do a row 1 and column 4. This is the value of row 1, column 4, something like what you will do in Excel file, D7, A72, something like that one. So on and so forth. You can do multiple. So there are, all of these are selections and different conditional selections. This is a good example. If I write df and I want all the numbers in df as a boolean value, whether they are true or false, are they greater than 0? Bunch of them are true or false because it's random integer number, random float numbers, not integers. And I want to not just see true or false, I want to see the values of those, only those selected values, not all of it. So I've set a threshold. It should be greater than 0, or I should actually write a greater than 0.5. Only 1, 2, 3, or 4. Only 4 values of them are true. So what I want to do in this case is greater than 0.5. Give me only those values which are greater than 0.5. The rest can be none. None as in they don't have values because they are false because of the condition. Because of the condition over here, I mean that pd.none, it's not a number. It does not satisfy the condition. That's why none. When you write not applicable, ideally it should be blank, but because it is numpy, it is nan. And the it's good because at any end, yeah, it's not a number. That also works. Now, going forward, there are multiple different conditions you can write in this way: greater than zero or greater than zero of a particular column of y. You can choose. So these are conditional selection statements. Go through them. These are very, very detailed. What I would ideally like you guys to practice this in multiple different ways. For example, if I have to select only this particular number, what is the condition or value that I have to put over here? Go through this is just like mathematics. Practice it multiple times and you would really like it. Now we come to something called as the index. By default, this is the index 0 1 2 3 4. If I have to, oh sorry, this is the index a b c d, as in, actually it will not be a b c d, it will be row 1 3 4 and 5, columns 1 3 4 and 5. If I reset the index right now, the index name, so this is not a value, guys. If I print the data frame print, this is the column name, this is the row name, but the values are only these, correct? If I were to reset the index, the default index would be 0 1 2 3 4. Now if I can reset this index. Index will not be used in calculation. It is majorly used to something like you have a normal index in your register to find out this row, like you have an attendance register, right? And on the left there are names of the students. That is an index. So right now, previously in the index names were r1 2 3 4. If I just type it reset index, by default it will be reset to 0 1 2 3 4. I can give a list or a name for that index as well. So I can give a name again, like A, B, C, D, or 2, 3, 4, 5. I can set a name as well for this particular new index if required. I can add another column in this case. For example, I can add states. Now, what I've done is I've reset the index now, set index as per the states. So this way you can have a clear, if you are going towards more data and data understanding, you can set two indexes in this case. Now, moving forward, I want to take you through, yes, Excel files. To save and read, let's read Excel files. The rest of the data is pretty much straightforward. It doesn't require a lot of logic over here. Let's come to missing data files or missing data in Excel, because you just saw nan np.nan over here, right? So the next exercise, what I want to have you guys to look at is missing data or any kind of missing data that we have. For that, we basically, for this case, I'm building a data frame. There are missing values. In this case, if you want to fill or rather place a missing value with numpy, you can just do np.nan, not a number, np.nans as in blanks. So right now there are three missing values. We can drop, there is a function to drop any kind of NAs or nans or missing values from the case is through a simple function called df.drop. df.drop.na, nans or missing values, and if you do that, automatically the numbers would be dropped. And you can do again by, if you don't give any kind of access like 0 or 1, it will choose everything. It will choose to drop every missing value or any value from the data frame. Or if you don't give NA, if you just do df.drop, it will drop the entire data frame altogether for you. That is about it. Okay, wait, it's connecting. I did not read this. Here is your data frame. If I do df.drop, I have to give a specify a label, an index or column in this particular case. So let me just do drop.df.na, and here then NAs have been dropped. In this particular case, NAs have been dropped. If I do df.drop.na and if I give an access 1 as in columns, so column A and column B entirely will be deleted. Column C would still remain. That's what is the requirement. Now, quick question. Oh, all right. It's already 3 o'clock. All right. Uh, long. Okay. Okay. There are a total of 131 basics and 25 advanced. The session was supposed to last about 2 to 3 hours only a day. Let me do one thing, guys. Post this session. I think it's three. I think we should take a break. We don't want to go on and on. Let's take a 5 minute. This question. What was your question? By similar, do you mean the same range or the same exact number that is assigned to the row or column? Which I'm sorry, I will need more context. Please tell what is the what is the question? I'm sorry, I did not understand. By similar, do you mean the same range or the same exact number that is assigned to the row and column? What question? Proceed. Oh, no. Random and numbers. Random numbers. For seed, yes, you will get the same range. Yeah, you'll get the same range. And if you do it the first time, you'll get the same exact number as well. 5 comma 4 is a range that I gave, 5 rows, 4 columns. Or if you said seed 101 or 108, the first time if you run, you'll get the same range and the same number as well. And if you run it the second time, then it's going to go away. So yeah, that's a question and answer. Let me just break. Let's take a quick 5 minute break. Will that be good with you guys? I guess some of you might require a break. I will share everything with you guys, not just this. I think I have shared a login credential on the School of Data Science. I think my team just told me it's not live yet because I made so many changes in this notebook, and ideally you would like this notebook, what I've worked with the interview questions here and there. So let's take a quick 5 minute break. I'll set a timer as well. It's 2:57 on the clock for me. Let's come back on 3:05, 3:10. Will that be fine? Meanwhile, yeah, meanwhile we'll work with the team to share. So we don't have to share files with you guys. As soon as you do a login, or create a login, create a profile for you, everything will be structured in this course, including the end of this class when this is automatically saved, the recording of this class, the sessions, the notebooks, any kind of extra notes that I have, and it will be in a drip format. Like for example, I will not set a drip format for the live class, of course, but once you go through this, you will have everything in School of Data Science in this particular course. If you create a login with an email or a phone number, or both works in either case, so you will have all these details over there. I think they are waiting. Okay, they're telling me to wait to complete this lecture. Let's take a 5-10 minute break, and when we come back, we'll do maybe 10-15 minutes more. I do understand it's a Friday. Some of you might want to go log in. We'll just share you. So that's why I'm pushing for the break right now. Okay, take a 10-minute break, stretch your legs, and think of some important questions, whether it is simple, basic, or however, or anything related to how to enter to data science. By the way, we will also be sharing, not today, on Tuesday, which is on 7. What is the date on Tuesday? On 9th of December. On 9th of December. So our next classes are on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The next class for us is actually tomorrow, but weekly we had planned for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On 9th of December, what will be live on the screen would be an additional place in the School of Data Science for placements and trainings. If you feel you can cut through the interview where we have multiple requirements, please give your shot, but be wary. We also have a difficulty setting in terms of the client requirement. I mean, I want all of you to be well placed in a great um, company. Most of the companies that we work with are US clients, so most of our work is remote work, but some of them require hybrid places, but most of them is remote working zones. So we'll be placing a remote something like a placement cell in our website as well, but that's not live right now. It'll be live on 9th, on Tuesday. To the general public, it will be live on the end of December, but for you guys, I can open the window immediately on 9th as well. So yeah. Okay, it's 3 exactly. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let's come back at 3:10. All right? Heart, yes, no? Okay. All right. Thank you guys. See you in 10 minutes. I'll quickly start the break timer as well with the music. Thank you. Come back in 10 minutes. Fun. Okay, can we come back, guys? Can you guys hear me? Some not audible. Okay. Uh, let's switch screens for a moment. Can you hear me now? Is it low? Yes. You should be able to see a first screen which is free. We had to literally accommodate a lot of people in this free. I think some questions were there. What kind of credentials we can use? Ideally, something which is really long lasting. That would be really helpful. I think the music is the music still on? No, music. Okay, uh, remove the screen. No, music is off. Okay, good. Ideally, something which you can access over the years, something a bit long lasting. That will be really helpful. We are completely revamping this whole thing, so we are updating a lot of different structures. So keep doing this. By the time you see this again on Monday, today's Friday, Saturday. Monday, this will be revamped, restructured. So, as much as possible, I'm going to do a classic cliche thing, do that like, subscribe, और क्या था उसमें? Uh, follow was something that called follow. Yeah, like, subscribe, bell icon, blue, whatever bullshit, please do that. Anyways, we'll keep giving you pings on this School of DS, and I think most of you have clicked the like or subscribe button on the YouTube as well, so that is helpful for me as well, definitely, for sure. And we have three posts on Instagram from a very long time. That is really bad on our part, on my side, because we have clients like, yeah, like, share, subscribe. That is really bad. So we have something called as a latest client called WPP Media. We'll be sharing, of course, I cannot share data, but I can share insights. I can share the Looker dashboard. So that is something called as Tableau Power BI. There is something also called from Google. It's called Looker, Looker. I can definitely share that Looker dashboard with you. A video of the dashboard, which essentially shows. So, by the way, WPP Media is a big, giant conglomerate. It's an advertising company. The project there is not a regression or a classification. The project there is a mix model, marketing mix modeling. Why this particular example to you is because we will have a helpful quiz for you as well. Um, WPP Media's clients are Tresemme, Nexus, and five other shampoo and hair care brands. And their question or example was, when, where, or how can you give us a clear or correct assessment if I have to spend $300,000 in the next 2 weeks? Which zip codes in the US should I target, or should I focus on? That's the level of attention to detail, or rather, that is the level of interaction that people want in terms of clients. So it's not your regular probability or statistical answer. You might run multiple different advertising campaigns. On the end, which one works best is a lot of data science involved in this entire case, a lot of data analytics, and a different, very different machine learning model from the usual regression and classification that you go through. All right, now let's come back to our scenery over here. I think it's this. Yeah. All right, let's come back. Let's go through this. Before we head there, I think for day one, there are a few quizzes also scheduled in the same way, so we can go through them. Now, before we go through more of the data in terms of missing values and analysis, how to drop missing values on, I think we did this. There is then group by, merge, and multiple different columns. Ideally, what we can do right now is go through something of an exercise of an input and output. Okay, they're texting me. We have to end the session. Look. Okay, let's do one thing. If is time up already? Okay, 3:30 we have to go. Um, let's do one thing. The ideal time that was given was 1 to 3. Um, yep, they'll chat soon. 1 to 3 is the time that I have. Unfortunately, I think we spent a lot of time in interview questions on this. But if you really liked, we will continue the same way, but a slightly faster pace so that I can cover as much as possible. Furthermore, there is also, actually, I should go through this. There is a community as well within this. If you go inside the course, if you log in and register, there is an internal chat and internal community. There are multiple um, admins and managers over there where who can immediately answer your basic questions. So please go sign up. Have questions you can ask there. If you have any other questions, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. I think there are a few moderators who can share it to me over chat or WhatsApp, however it is. How to access this? It's free. You click on the button and you click login, and you will get it. Oh, access the community chat. It'll come inside. It should come inside. Sony X by H. I don't I don't know that. I hope that's your name. So you'll get those access. So not a problem. If there's any other question, maybe if I miss how to access this, can you type a longer sentence? I need some context. Uh, all right. I guess that is about it for day one. Um, any questions for me before we end the session or close the session? Do you want it faster, slower? If you type fast, if you liked it, resources for complete beginners, absolutely, it's there. If okay, let's do. I think you guys are really well versed in emojis. Whatever the first emoji you see, if you liked it for me to go more examples, more questions, more. Let's take questions right now. Okay, resources, everything will be there in the course. Not to worry. Have they not yet told how to access? Are you guys like, do we have a pre-made account or we build a new account? Uh, Either way works. I think if you have a new account with anything Gmail, that will be there. Can you give the link of the website in the chat? It's sure. That's actually a smart question. Uh, that's the link. Uh, Try to keep it as simple as possible. You go to this website and you go to courses over here on the top. Interview Q&A. Yeah, will come. We'll update with latest interview Q&A. You just go over here in courses. I think I was here on the blog. Yeah, I am in courses only. If you click that, if you go over here, we'll get it immediately. Any questions, guys? For those who know C++ but not Python, yeah. There's a Python crash course. What I think we went back and forth in this entire section. A Python refresher is definitely there in this course. Not to worry. We will give you recorded videos also of this classroom till the end of this year or maybe till the end of next year as well. So not an issue. We will have more intense session as well. One thing what I wanted to ask all of you is the last session or the first session, there were only two options, that to have the session in person in IIT Bombay, and all the moderators of the analytics club, the managers of analytics club, they really tried, but what they told me was most of you have gone home and place is not available. If you come back in some point of time and if you want to have an in-person session, that would be the best thing that we can do, for me, for you, for everyone, both. But for now we'll have to stick with the online session. That's for it. Any other questions for me, guys? Easy, simple, any kind of question, anything is fine. Which topics will be covered on which day? Yeah, sure. If you go inside the course, I have day one, day two, day three, everything is written there. We'll go through all the topics as it is. We plan to cover, we'll update it as well for this as well. Yes, they will be. What all can we expect to learn by the end of end of what? End of today? End of the entire boot camp? Is that the question? By the end of the boot camp, I hope the learning Python and data science essentially takes at least 3 months, and it takes 10 hours a week, uh, in person rigorous training and analysis. Any other place, if you go, they would say at least 6 months. 3 months, I'm saying the bare minimum, where we spend 10 to 12 hours a week coaching and training or whatever, and we give a lot of homeworks and examples. This is a boot camp, 8 days or 9 days, 2 to 3 hours. It's essentially actually 2 hours. a day, but 2 to 3 hours. So maybe three twos are 6 hours a week, 3 weeks. So I'll try to touch base on all the basic topics and points. For example, data analysis with all the different files, a Python crash course for actual immediate beginners, complete data analysis, data wrangling. We have 8 to 9 sessions. Yes, we have 9 sessions, 3 weeks. We will try to cover everything in relation to data analysis, not just structured data, but unstructured and semi-structured. Because face it, you live in the age of 2020, in the year 2025, 26, where most of your tasks, whether you're a techie or a non-techie, you are using ChatGPT on almost everything. But I should take, apart from regression and classification, the two main topics, an entire session dedicated only for NLP, natural language processing, to understand the basics. What does a token mean? What does a bag of words mean? Why why are companies like Google Gemini 3, they are beating ChatGPT on all frontiers? By the way, Google is a client. So why suddenly ChatGPT 5, 5.1? What is token limits when they talk about this? And what is the smarter way? But more importantly, what does it mean when they say we trained a model, which takes, by the way, when you train a model, you cannot just say that in your interview, I trained a model. Training a model means it takes millions of dollars. But when you say I fine-tuned a model, that can take maybe hundreds of dollars, 100 or maybe 1000. That's it. Train, that is fine tuning. So what does those concepts mean? So for me to touch base on all those topics, last few days I will need for natural language processing and neural networks. But for that to happen, I will need you guys to be essentially the people who are really who know data science and Python. The first day was a complete basic thing. The second day, but still I'm trying to give you interview questions and resources and trying to push your mind in other ways. But the second day would be completely with case studies. So directly tomorrow, I'm not talking about Kaggle data science or Titanic data sets. I'm going to give you actual data on which you will have to work with me side by side in this entire setup. I'll work. You can have your laptops open, and see how or what the analysis is. Once this week breaks, the next class is tomorrow. Once this week breaks, I'll give you some sort of homework for Sunday, Monday. So ideally, when we come back on Tuesday, I'm hoping all of you would be well prepared with your basics. And for the people who are slightly advanced, we on Tuesday, I really hope you will be well prepared on one particular data set that I can share separately. If you have worked, if a select group of students want to work on it, great. I'll share it on Saturday late evening. So on Tuesday, I can ask you challenging questions or difficult questions. And my entire hope in this case is, when you ask what will we achieve at the end of the session, at the end of the session, you will be able to clearly crack, hopefully, after you practice a lot, crack a lot of interviews and have a solid understanding. I'm not going to say a solid foundation, but a clear, good understanding of what it means to be a data scientist in one particular division. Regression is one division, classification is one division, time series is in another division, natural language processing is another division, and for the folks who wants to live only once, what was that, you only live once, YOLO, that is computer vision model. So image, in neural networks there is something called as computer vision and image processing, that is a separate division. I want to cover almost everything. Do you think I can cover almost everything? If you want to say yes, if you can give me a thumbs up, down, heart, this, that, left, right, give me something. Is my screen blur? Yeah, guys, if give me a hearts or a thumbs up, this is the only way that I can see, okay, I'm interacting with some people, not just one or two. Yeah. If you want me to cover all of this without losing quality in terms of the basics, then I would really request you to do you only look once. Great, man. I am so deep into coding, I forget abbreviations. Thank you so much for that. So if you want me to do all of this, please give me a heart. What I will essentially do is give you more homework, which you can really practice, or at least do the absolute basics, what I've shared right now. Having a strong foundation, guys, please understand the two basic questions what I asked you right now. How do you read a file in pandas without how do you read a file in Python without pandas? It's an absolute basic question I ask almost everyone, and more than 50% people fail. How do you reverse a list? As simple as that. What does those, and if they are able to answer that, what does that colon or double colon mean? So I'll try to push as basic questions like these. So hopefully, when you become managers after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you can understand why this is so important. Maybe you will not understand right now. All right. Thank you so much, guys. I will keep updating more. I'll share more information with the analytics club, the managers, the moderators, and they will share more information in your chat groups. But that is a separate chat group over here as well. Do, if possible, can you do one favor for me? Can you do? There is a social links that we have given, Instagram and YouTube. Can you please follow and subscribe? That it becomes easy for me to access or give information to you in multiple different channels, because for some really smart clients we are developing video generation models with Flux 2.0 and Kling and one. So can you follow and share in both places? That'll be really helpful. All right, that is about it, guys, for me. If there are no more questions, I can break for the lecture and see you guys tomorrow. Any last minute questions? Anything? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Reading a file in Python means, in simple terms, ingesting. You know what? I'll actually give you a question and answer in the same thing. But yeah, how to read a file, basically. Reading an Excel or what. I'll share that with you. We have not come to that. I'll share this session tomorrow. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.